We're in the Bendigo Town Hall in the later edition that was built in 1878, and we're going to go into one of the bits that most of the people don't ever get to see, the clock tower. And we think there might be some interesting things that we're going to show you in here. So we're in the first level of the clock tower here, and this is where people who have done work in the building have scribbled their names. Some of our previous councillors have scribbled their names and the date into the walls. We'll see them right throughout here. Some of them are fairly current from the last few years, but some go right back to the 1870 extension when it was first done. Some other names, there's a relative of mine over here who scribbled their name there back in the 1960s. Just amazing to see how this has evolved over time. So we're about to go up to the second level of the clock tower, and obviously occupational health and safety comes first, so we've put the harnesses on and we're about to head up. I'll see you at the top. So we're standing in the clock tower now, and you can just see the mechanics of the actual clocks that were installed in 2005 by a local clockmaker, Stephen Young. The original designs actually were designed to have clocks put in them. So if you look at plans from 1880 or thereabouts, it actually shows a clock face in there if they're hand drawn. But the need for them actually was surpassed when the Visitor Information Centre clock tower was built. So they decided not to, saved a few dollars along the way. Then in 2005, thanks to a couple of generous donations, one from the Bendigo Advertiser, who were celebrating 150 years, and another 100-year celebration from the Rotary Club, donated money towards getting the clocks installed.
The top of the clock tower, and it's pretty high. You don't get views like this in Bendigo too often, and it's pretty windy too. It's just an amazing view. We're going to get some great footage of around the CBD streetscapes and beyond. Wow, I just can't imagine what they were thinking when they built this back in 1878.
So we're about to go down the stairwell into the basement of the town hall, and believe it or not, these stairs were actually external to the building. So the first phase of the building actually finished over here, and it faced onto down Bull Street, but this was a light court, so the building eventually got built over this and it kept continuing down towards Hargrove Street. So these stairs were originally designed to be outside. The cedar handrails are a new addition when the restoration was done, when it became more internal, but originally it was all cast iron. So we're going to head down there. So is this the first town hall that Bendigo's had? The answer's no. The first one was down at Viewpoint near Alexandra Fountain, and it was just a simple two-storey timber building. So back in 1854, when the city was laid out by Richard Larrett, they actually reserved a place here for a town hall into the future. So it sits at the centre of the town grid, and the first building was built here by the town surveyor, or designed by the town surveyor, in 1859. And the original part of the building actually still stands, but it has evolved over time. So they did the first bit, which is at the Littleton Terrace Street end. Then they added another bit, which is where we're sitting now in the council chamber. Then a third bit and a fourth bit. The fourth bit was called the Corn Exchange. That was a big hall, and most of the hall that we have today is part of that Corn Exchange part of the building. But it was a relatively simple building. Bendigonians didn't like it. They often referred to it as a brick kiln. And back in 1878, that's when they engaged William Varland to do a major refurbishment and extension of the town hall. So the main hall is really the showstopper here. It was under threat of demolition back in the 60s and 70s. It was interesting, the engineers at the time didn't want to spend too much money on the restoration of the building. They recommended demolition and starting from scratch, building a new town hall. And the architects that they commissioned at the time also said that it wasn't architecturally significant enough to warrant preservation. Now, clearly they were looking at a building which is in much worse condition than what we have now, but even then, this is held up as one of the finest town halls in Victoria, if not Australia, and the key piece of work that William Varland did. He was the preeminent architect of the goldfields.